Hey guys, got a new video coming out. I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to be reviewing and analyzing newer cards that have not been printed in English yet and have just been revealed in Japan. So first up, we have Dreadnought. The attack full power wave for 2 colorless and a water energy. If you played Nessa from your hand, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed and it does 80 damage. And its other Surf for 2 water, 2 colorless. Fortunately, this card's not very good. 3 energy for 80 damage on a stage 1 is just terribly weak. And adding paralysis by playing a subpar supporter for the turn doesn't really advance your gameplay, and it's usually pretty bad. Not to mention, the current format is pretty weak, with every deck running Force Switches and Malolanas. It's going to take a lot of other stuff to save this card, but unfortunately I don't think this card needs saving because I don't think they ever intended for this card to be played. The next card we have up is Nessa, the card meant to be played with Dreadnought. Nessa has a supporter text. Choose up to 4 in any combination of water Pokemon, water energy from your discard pile and put them into your hand. Nessa is an interesting card, which right off the bat rings the Frostmoth and Lapras VMAX bell. Obviously I think that's what's intended to be played with. It's obviously an automatic fit in a deck like that. Don't doubt this card would make the deck any stronger. I think it's a very good inclusion. Being a combination of Fisherman and Brock's Grit, usually this card will be used for retrieving energies for Frostmoth, but sometimes you need the VMAX if your VMAX just got knocked out, and you can take a VMAX and 3 energies to instantly charge up a Lapras. Can be quite powerful. While in expanded, Archie's Blastoise doesn't see really any play anymore with the new no going first supporter rule. Should the deck ever come back, I 100% see Nessa replacing Fisherman because it's just a strictly better card. The next 2 cards we have up is Charizard and Leon. Charizard, a stage 2, 170 HP fire type, with the ability Battle Sense. Once during your turn, you can look at top 3 cards of your deck, put one of them into your hand, and discard the other 2 cards. And the attack King's Blaze, for 2 fire energies, 100 damage, attack does 50 damage for each Leon in your discard pile. Unlike Dreadnought, I think this card might actually be kind of good. I could see this being played for sure at leagues for fun, or even just for fun at league challenges. Well, it's a stage 2 and it's probably inconsistent, and honestly I think it's a worse and more inconsistent Cinderace. It does have very good flavor and a very strong attack that can potentially one-shot the strongest VMAX cards with a potential 230 damage per turn, which can be quite devastating for a lot of decks. Its ability does enable itself to draw, which is powerful, but overall I think this card will remain a meme deck, but we'll have to wait and see if anything else gets printed. Maybe another stage 2 booster card or something will come out. Leon, the supporter that's meant to be played with Charizard. During this turn, your Pokemon's attacks deal 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Very simple card, very basic card, easy to understand. There's no hidden lines here. While being comparable to cards like Professor Kukui and Iris, Leon enables a lot of decks to hit critical points of damage in a standard and expanded that would enable it to one-shot other things. I'm not going to go super deep into it as I want to kind of keep this video short, but the first deck that comes to mind immediately is Charizard VMAX. Charizard VMAX hits a base 300 damage, but with this card it can enable it to hit 330 damage for one-shotting in the mirror matches, and it might even be paired with a Vitality Band now to hit 340 on Eternatus VMAX and Snorlax VMAX, and whatever other VMAX they print with 330, 340 health. I think this card's nuts. I think it's really good. Or I don't think it's nuts. I think it's really good, really fair, really balanced. Doesn't draw cards or anything. It's just strictly more damage to get that critical point damage for the knockout. I see this being competitive in both formats, being standard and expanded. And the final 2 cards we have Hitmontop and Barbara. Hitmontop, a fighting type, 90 HP. A cycle draw, discard a card from your hand, draw 3 cards from your deck. And colorless, or 2 colorless and a fighting for Twister Kick, does 50 damage, and if you played Barbara from your hand during this turn, This attack does 80 more damage. Like Dreadnought, this card is absolute garbage and will never see any form of competitive play. 130 damage for 3 energies on a basic is basically what every baby legendary card ever does. You got Heatran, you got Dialga, you got all the Zekrom, Reshiram, all those cards have always just 130. This Pokemon can't attack next turn or something like that. But it's never been this insanely weak, where you have to play a pretty bad supporter in order to add 80 damage to your 3 energy 50 damage attack. Card's garbage, never going to see play. It's just meant for the flavor of printing Bea and one of her companion Pokemon. Bea is an interesting card. Supporter, you discard the top 5 cards from your deck. You attach all energy this way to your benched fighting Pokemon in any way you like. It's a very unique card with a lot of swing potential. It's comparable to Max Elixir, which is a very powerful card in any basic deck in Expanded, notably Fighting type. But unfortunately, as this card is, it's pretty terrible. On average, you will maybe hit 1 energy for your Fighting type and discard 4 other cards from your deck, which is pretty bad. So unless they print some other kind of item or some other support for this card, I don't see it seeing play. They would need to print something like put 2 energy from your discard pile on top of your deck, or something, search your deck for 2 energy cards, reveal them, and put them on top. With anything like that, I don't think this card will be played in any format. I think it's just a really bad ends resolve, which people thought was good and did see some play, but ultimately that looked at the top 7 cards, I think, and was still terrible. So unless your deck's 30 energies, then I mean that's an issue on its own. But I don't think this card is going to see play with any current card in the game.